there are two sets of requirements that you have to meet. In this instance, it's different. You just need to prove only these 5 requirements for Estoppel to succeed. So in the exam, we might not ask you to list the requirement for Estoppel. And I want to say, yes, we will never ask you to list the requirement for Estoppel. Remember, this is a third-year module. At this level, we require you to be able to identify some of the requirements that might not be there in the scenario that we will be giving you. So for example, we might give you a scenario, and in that particular scenario, some of the requirements for Estoppel might not be there, or all of them might be there. So our aim there is to assess you if you can pick up the gaps in the requirements for Estoppel, or which requirements might be there, or which requirement might not be there. Therefore, remember what you need to do at this level of your studies is to be able to, in the end, give an advice to your client. Remember, you might be practicing at that time and you have a scenario. Your client will be coming to you, giving you a story. And based on the story, it is your duty as an attorney or an advocate to be able to advise your client that, yes, based on the facts that you've given me, because the client will come to you and give you a story and say, what do I do? If it relates to the law of Estoppel, you should be in a position to be able to advise your client to say, in these instances, you have a claim under law of Estoppel. So you can raise this defense of Estoppel so that you'll succeed with the defense. So before you even give your client that confidence that you'll be able to succeed with your defense, you would have looked at the requirements to make sure that there's a misrepresentation, there's fault, there's prejudice, there's causation, and whatever they are stopping is permissible in law. So you make sure that all these 5 requirements are there. So like I said, case law plays an important role, so you must know case law. I see we are over 10. The 3 minutes are just after 10. Our scheduled session was supposed to end at 10 o'clock, but I know you're writing in 2 days' time. So if there are any question or any comments or any clarity-seeking questions, you are more than welcome to raise them before we close the session. I see one hand is up. Kofi? I see morning, your everyone. Hand is up.
Yes. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Sorry, I joined in 30 minutes late. I just want to confirm, advocate, if we're still going to have the 50 multiple choice questions. That's just my question, please. And also, when are we getting the feedback for assignment 1, especially, so that we know where we went wrong? And I know you've given us the memo, but at least just to see if whether we wrote sense or not. Thanks.
Thank you. Kofi, you can just switch off your camera. Thank you so much. Yes. Actually, the format and the information regarding the exam, we hoped to give it to you as we nearing closure closing the session. But since you have asked the question, yes, the format of the exam will still be MCQs, so it will be multiple choice questions, and the exams will be conducted again on my exams. So it is not conducted on my UNISA, but it is conducted on my exams. And the questions will be randomized, meaning that the questions, one student will get a different set of questions from the other students. So we randomize the questions. So that's the format of the exam. Like I said, the exam will be conducted on my exams, not on my UNISA. And on the issue of the tutorial letter, the tutorial letter 201 is out. You can access it under additional resources on my UNISA. Then you'll be able to see a detailed feedback to your assignment. I was hoping some of the students will be raising questions about the assignment, particularly assignment 1, and all that. Do you remember the scenario was based on somebody trading in uncut diamonds and all that. And while we were marking some of these assignments, some students got it totally wrong and others got it right. But you'll see a detailed feedback in the assignment. So I was hoping some of our students will be asking about the assignment and the feedback. I'm glad that you raised that issue. I was under the impression that the notice went out to all our students that the tutorial test is out, but I can confirm that it is out. It is under additional resources. Thank you so much. I don't know if Ms. Bai would like to add some few things regarding the format of the examination, how it will be conducted.
Thank you, Advocate. While I was listening to you, I gathered that you have almost covered all ground, especially have overemphasized that they should access the exam paper, their exam questions from my exams platform, not from my UNISA platform. That is very important.
Yes. And the recommendation is that try to log in 15 minutes before. Remember, the exam is scheduled for 10:30. So try to log in at least 15 minutes before, so that when you have connectivity challenges, then that can be sorted out before the exam starts at 10:30. And I see we have 2 hands. From my side, I can only see Nchadi.
Yes. Good morning, Advocate and everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I just want to ask, with regards to the multiple choice that we'll be writing on Thursday. Will the system allow us to go back? Say maybe we want to make a correction, maybe on question 1. Maybe after reading carefully, I've realized that the answer is actually 2 and not 1. Can I still go back? Or once I've chosen the answer, that's it, I have to continue? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bai, would you like to respond to that?
Thank you, Advocate. In our previous exam, if you go, you have answered a question, you could not go back according to the randomized setup. However, I don't know whether advocate there's anything new regarding that.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Bai. I think the intention is not to make the process very tedious and the system to be very tedious for our students. The university recommends that because it's a multiple choice format of the exam, students should not be allowed to go back.
Wow.
So you must pay attention to the question that you're answering. What I did actually when I finalized the settings for the exam is to allow students to be able to go back. I know some students raised this issue in the previous exam, that they were unable to go back, but the settings, I've set them in such a way that they allow you to go back.
Okay, now that would be great. And also in terms of time allocation, how long would the system allow us to spend on per question? We know with some systems it can say maybe 5 minutes. Should you waste more than 5 minutes, then I don't know, the system will cut you off. Will there be such situation or what? And also in terms of saving, after selecting an answer, should we then save, or we just select an answer then move on to the next question?
Okay, thank you so much for those questions. They are very important. I'll start with the last question. You should not try to save. The system has been set up in such a way that automatically it saves your selection. So just select the option that you think is correct and move on to another question. On the first question, yes.
Advocate Sianeho, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yes. Yes, you'll be able to save, but we recommend you not to save. Don't click on the save button because it will take a lot of your time. I hope I'm clear on that one.
Yes, you are clear on that one, Advocate. However, when you're about to answer the first question, you got muted. And you are right, Ntsadi, thanks for raising that question. I was going to address that do not click on save, because when you click on save, it also affects the whole system. And that's where others, they get kicked out of the system, or it buffs for 5 minutes or longer. So very important. I had even highlighted it in bold and underlined it that do not click on save after each answer that you select. As Advocate has already mentioned, after selecting your answer, click and go to the next one, then the system will automatically save that answer that they've selected. I'll also try and post this under your instruction to remind you of those instructions under the announcement when we are done. Thank you. Advocate, the first question that I think you got muted, that Ntsadi asked was
okay. On the duration of the exam.
Yes.
Yes, the duration of the exam is 3 hours. So you have 3 hours to complete the exam. But I know the system allows students to be able to take the exam 15 minutes before. We know that there are some challenges. Some students might experience some challenges, connectivity challenges. That's why the system will allow students to be able to log in 15 minutes before the exam. But all in all, we have 3 hours to complete the paper.
Advocate, I'm sorry, I cannot raise my hand. It's Makakaba. There was a question by one of the Leonard students regarding time that could be spent on each question. She even indicated that, is it 5 minutes? After 5 minutes, are you going to be cut or move to the next question and so on? I couldn't get an answer based on that question by our Leonard student. Thank you, Advocate. And apologies for not raising my hand. My handset doesn't show clearly where I must do, the raising of a hand. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Makakaba. On that issue, there's no time allocated to a specific question. So the fact you will not be cut out if you spend, for example, 10 minutes on a particular question. The time allocated is for the entire paper. So I do not know any specific instructions on time allocated to a specific question. But it is important that you take note of the 3 hours that you have for the paper. If, for example, by 3 hours, you have only managed to answer half of the questions, then the system will log you out. That's the only time that the system will log you out, not by the fact that you spent more time on a particular question in the paper. No.
My last question, Advocate, if you allow me.
Yes.
What will happen if, while answering, the set of questions, I encounter challenges relating to network and completely, I'm off? Can I be able to access again the very same set of questions, or will the system allocate new set of questions to me with, the 3 hours or limited hours added to the first that I've lost? Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for that question. No, the system will not, if you are logged out, because it's a randomized system, if you are logged out for any reason, you will get a new set of questions. But unfortunately, the system will not recognize that you were logged out and you only rejoined the examination session an hour in. Therefore, it will give you an extra hour after that allocated time. Unfortunately, if you're logged out within the first hour, for example, when you log in again, you will only have 2 hours, but you'll have two different sets of questions. I hope I'm clear on that one.
Very clear, sir. Thank you for responding, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I see Ntadi's hand is raised. Before Ntadi comes in, I just want to mention this in passing that if it's possible, our dear student, may you please access your My Exams platform using Google Chrome, if it's possible, because there you won't have problems if you use the Google Chrome platform. Thank you, Ntadi. You may ask a question.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'm just testing the waters here. Like, can we get like more questions, Nyana? Like hint, no, yes. Few questions just to test us that we'll be ready. No, I'm just testing. Like, I'm just testing.
Yeah, no, I think
No,
I
two
think
questions.
it is important. I think in before the lockdown, I used to have many students visit me at the office, and I will advise them to before the exam, pretend as if you are an examiner. Draft some questions for yourself, as if you are an examiner. You have been given the role to prepare the examination paper, and try to answer those questions honestly. If you struggle in some questions, the likelihood is that you haven't grasped the contents of the module to the satisfaction that you will be ready for the exam. So the activities we have in the study guide, you can use those activities to test your knowledge, to test how far you understand the contents of the module. But on this one, on Estoppel, I guess I don't think asking you questions now, well, it will help. It will help, yes. More activities we have, the better. But you can also use those in our study guide to just test your to gauge your knowledge at that time.
Okay, fellow students, I tried. Sorry. Okay, thank you.
You tried inside.
Yeah, but for example, I mean, when we talk about permissible in law, for example, you can just ask yourself, what other scenarios will be tantamount to or fall under this requirement of
Advocate, you're muted
yes.
again.
Oh, sorry. So you can just look at the examples in permissible in law, and come up with scenarios that that you will be able to test specific requirements of Estoppel, for example, and use the facts in the cases that we discuss in the study guide. For example, when we talk about prejudice, if we cluster the cases that we have under prejudice, for example, you look at those cases that deal with prejudice and use those facts to test your knowledge. For example, we talk about entrusting of property to another. The mere entrusting of property to another, does that mean there's a misrepresentation or there's fault on the part of the owner of the property? Because that's one of the cases that we discuss in the study guide. I wish I had so many other questions, but I can advise you to have those to look at those activities in the study guide that will assist you to. I was hoping that you will be the one asking questions, and then we'll be able to try to answer those questions, not the other way around. Well, we have a number of questions in the paper, in the exam, so but you can use those activities in the study guide to test your knowledge. For example, I can just ask you now. It is stated that a mere entrusting of property to another does not mean that the owner intends to alienate or sell that property, meaning does not create that impression or misrepresentation, if you put it that way, that the owner wants to sell the property. Which case is relevant to that set of facts? Can you answer that? Can you just tell us the particular case that deal with entrusting of property to another. Remember, we talked about misrepresentation by omission or commission. So if you entrust a property to another, does that amount to misrepresentation? If it does, is it by omission or by commission?
It's by commission.
Ms. Bai, I see there's a hand up. I cannot see whose hand is up from my side.
Initially, there was a hand from Delcia. I thought it was still up, or is it an historical hand? She'll claim me on that. And the next one is Mr. Ndlovu's hand.
Okay. In that order.
Okay. Sorry, initially I just wanted to find out, should we have electrical problems? We don't want Eskom to put again power outages in different areas. I just wanted to know, how will the university address that? Because sometimes you have outages in different areas, and when you are busy with your examination, you don't have control if something just shuts completely down. So I just wanted to know, how will the university address that?
Thank you for that question. I think we had similar problems in the past exam sessions since last year. There were some students who struggled with load shedding, in some instances power outages. But the university, I know the university will not prejudice you on something that you do not have control over. So if you were unable to write the examination because you did not have power, my advice is that alert us immediately, and then the university will take a specific position. I know previously those students were given an opportunity to write the supplementary, which we wrote in January, February. So yes, I'm not sure what will the university do this time around. Perhaps they might allow you to be able to write the exam in the the October examination as well. But if you experience those challenges, please just let us know so that we are aware. So that should the opportunity be given to those students that experience those challenges, then you'll be able to be given an opportunity.
Yes, if you can just provide us with the contact details, maybe on my Uniso or something like that, then we can just have it on standby, because you never know with Eskom.
Yes, I think our details are in the tutorial 101. You can email us to let us know that you have those challenges. You can also call us. We have our telephone numbers there as well. So it does not necessarily have to, the reporting, you should not necessarily have to tell us on the spot. Excuse me. But yes, on that particular day that you experience those challenges, just send us an email or give us a call, then we will be available.
Thank you, Advocate.
Thank you.
Mr. Ndlovu?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity again. I just wanted to answer the question relating to the entrusting of one's property to another. Advocate had asked which case related to that.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think it's Forton versus Lilifield.
Yes.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I got that.
Yes.
I got that. Yes.
And I see
if I heard you correctly, you said entrusting one's property to another does not necessarily constitute misrepresentation. But I see here in Fordon, they say in certain circumstances, it does constitute misrepresentation.
Yes, you are right. So
Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. It just confirms exactly what I was saying, that merely entrusting a property onto another does not necessarily mean or create that misrepresentation. It is only in certain circumstances where that a misrepresentation will arise. For example, when you entrust a property, for example, your car, with the registration papers, that might create an impression that you want to alienate the property. So it is how you entrust the property, not just merely entrusting the property to another.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see. Okay, thank you very much for the clarity.
Thank you.
Mr. Mulepo?
Yeah, I think I just also needed to add the good morning once again, colleagues. The case also Adams versus Moke, I think it spoke about entrusting of property.
Yes, yes. So we have number of cases that deal with the entrusting of property. But the essence of it is that it is not just the mere entrusting of this property, like I said. It is the way you entrust the property to another. That will determine if the owner, remember, in instances where the owner entrusts the property to another, it is in instances where a reivindicatio will arise. So the owner will have reivindicatio to claim the property, and it is in these instances where fault is a definite requirement. So it's a general requirement for Estoppel. So we might give you a scenario. Perhaps the reason why this requirement, which is fault, is so important for reivindicatio is Section 25 of our Constitution. Protection of private property. I think that's the essence of it, to ensure that no one loses his or her property. If they lose that property as a result of a Estoppel, they must have acted with culpa. So there must have been gross negligence or negligence on their part for them to lose ownership of their property. So that's Estoppel. That's Estoppel in a nutshell, actually. These are the requirements. So you must know the requirements in such a way that you'll be able to discuss them, even if somebody asks you to discuss them. I know we will not ask you that question this time around because we have multiple choice questions. But if you know them in such a way that if we ask you to discuss misrepresentation as a requirement for Estoppel, you'll be able to do that. If you are able to do that, whether a question comes in a form of an MCQ, you'll be able to answer any question relating to misrepresentation. Like I said, all these other 4 requirements have been discussed previously. I believe most of us have done law of contract, either law of delict or criminal law. So, so I believe after this session, the law of Estoppel is clearer to you. You'll be able to answer any question in the exam. Am I correct? Can we
Yes, sir.
expect?
We hope
Can
so.
we,
Yes, sir.
can we expect distinctions this time around?
Please. As your mark, just give us distinctions.
No, remember, we are not marking them.
Oh, okay.
We are not marking them because it's a randomized system of
yes.
MCQs. The system will mark your options. But it is marked based on the correct options that we gave the system. Remember, when we did the randomized system, we put in the questions, we put in the options, and then we indicate to the system, this is the correct option. So we are not gonna mark it, the system will mark it. But based on, after this session, I just wish and I hope that we will have so many distinctions than we had in the previous examination. So the same approach that we use for Estoppel, please use it for enrichment as well. So with enrichment, you must know the requirements for those remedies. Remember the last session we talked about the remedies. So you must know the requirements for those remedies. In some instances, some remedies do not have specific requirements, but they have scope of application. So you must know the scope of application of those remedies. And then you must know case law. So if you know the remedies for enrichment, you know the requirements for Estoppel, and you know applicable case law for both Estoppel and enrichment, that's when I'm confident that you'll get a distinction. Malepo, I see your hand is up. McDonald?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I just need to check, say, is there a split perhaps between enrichment and Estoppel in terms of the number of questions?
There is no split, actually, it's just half-half. We balanced the two study guides. You have 50 questions in the exam. 25 will be from Estoppel, and 25 will be from enrichment.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Advocate, we are ready.
You are ready?
No, we are.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that. Remember, your success is the essence of why we are here. We want you to succeed. We want you to be to pass these modules. We want you to be capable lawyers of the future. So that's why we decided to have these sessions. The purpose of these sessions, as I said, I think last year and the pandemic taught us that unfortunately or fortunately, we have to move to online. And so the reason why we organize this session is to assist you, to provide you with added opportunities for you to engage with us. But the final rationale for this is for you to be able to succeed and be able to pass these modules. I hope these sessions, as you'll be writing in 2 days' time, have been helpful. They've been able to clarify some of the queries or questions that you might have had, so that when you go to the exam, you are ready. So in a small poll, were the sessions helpful in your preparation for the exam? Did you say the sessions assisted you in some way to be able to be better prepared for the exam? Yes, Heather?
Hi, Advocate. I just wanted to ask a question. I tried to access the session for the enrichment because I wasn't able to attend that session, but I'm not able to, it won't let me go into that session so I can get the comments or the recording.
Okay, yes, I think the recording, it is under charts. If you can access, remember the meeting, you just follow the link, that link of the meeting.
Yeah, so I did that, but
Yes.
it says to me that the session hasn't started. You must wait to be accepted.
Okay, I don't know, Ms. Bai, is there a way to bypass that so that Heather can be able to go to the charts? Because the recording is there. Unfortunately, we struggle to have it uploaded on my Unisa. Apparently, it's too big to be uploaded on my Unisa. So the viable way of accessing that recording will be to go to MS Teams, and under charts you'll be able to listen to the session.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. If you're still struggling, just let us know. If we can, we will definitely assist. But since it is the system says it is too big for my Unisa uploading, unfortunately, the only way to access it is on MS Teams.
Okay, I'll try again. I know for me, I had no issue with Estoppel, but some of the enrichment actions were a little bit sort of difficult to understand. It would have been nice. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend that session. I was working.
Okay. Okay.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if you have one or two questions regarding enrichment, we'll see if we can assist with you. You can raise them now.
I see that Mhlongo has a hand up, Advocate.
Okay, all right.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. However, my question is slightly different. I just wanted to understand the issue around this Invigilator app now, because we are going to be using it for the first time. So if you happen to struggle maybe to keep up with the app plus the examination, what are the implications there? Thank you.
Ms. Pai, would you like to respond to that?
Thanks, Advocate. Unless I'm missing something, Advocate, as far as I know, we haven't yet in our module started using the Invigilator app. Hence, Andile, you won't have any issues with the Invigilator app. I stand corrected, Advocate?
Yes, you are right, Ms. Pai. I think as far as I know, the Invigilator app is implemented on fourth year modules, exit modules, as far as I remember. So for PVL3704, you are not expected to download the app.
Okay.
As far as the implications of that, I'm not entirely sure. I think where we will have further details as soon as that app is implemented for our module. But for now, you should not worry about the app for now.
Thanks, Advocate. I don't know whether Heather's hand is a historical one or it's a new one. Heather?
Hi, it's a new one. I just wanted to ask, in terms of enrichment, just the sum on when a person, how much a person gets. I understand it's the lesser amount, but if the person doesn't have the money, how do we calculate that? If the money has been spent, or I don't seem to understand that part of the enrichment actions. How you work out the amount.
Okay, thank you for that question. Well, if there's an amount, then it is determined exactly by that cap, the lesser of the two amounts of either enrichment or impoverishment. So that is the cap. In instances where the money has been spent, it will depend on how the money or where the money has been spent and under what circumstances the money has been spent. Remember, it is the principle of law of unjustified enrichment that you can claim the money still in the patrimony of the party of the defendant in this instance. So if the money has been spent on useful and necessary improvements, then the amount can still be claimed. But if the money has been spent on luxury improvements, the other party cannot claim the improvements or the money. But also in this instance, there's an exception. Remember, the reasonable test is used in that instance. So if the party was aware that the money they're spending on luxury improvements they are not entitled to it, and then they spend the money, they can still be liable under unjustified enrichment. So what I'm saying is that it will depend on the circumstances of how the money was spent, for what the money was spent for. I don't know if it provides clarity on that.
No, actually, that provides a lot of clarity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Ms. Bai, I see we're approaching the second hour already of the session. So in absence of any more questions, I think we might consider to close the session.
Indeed, Advocate.
I'll take your lead in that regard.
I think we have covered most ground, Advocate. Thank you so much to our lovely students, and we wish you all the best with your exams. And really, as Advocate has said a mouthful, that we only wishing you the best. We want to see you thrive in the legal fraternity, representing us, and some of you joining us in academia. Really, we believe in you, and we know we are not dealing with just ordinary people. There's nothing ordinary about you, we know. So hence, we hope in the future we'll interact in other spheres, whether as one of our markers, whether as our tutors, whether as us working with you, collaborating on articles. But the future is bright. I even need shades. I believe in you guys, and really, to get this far, I know it took a lot of dedication, hard work, and sacrificing some of your luxuries, everything, but it's worth it. It will be worth it, you know. But already I know it's starting. The future is bright. Thank you so much, and thank you for this interesting engagement. It was so interesting the way you engaged with us. And I'm so glad that most of the students, some of them, I interacted with them via email and over the phone. I'm glad that you're also here attending, really. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Back to you, Advocate. And thank you, Advocate, for such an enriching and informative and such a capturing presentation. Thank you so much, Advocate. We really appreciate.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank everybody that managed to join us today. I'd like to wish you well in your examination. Like Ms. Bai said, we waking up every day to come and assist you to be able to succeed in your studies. We would like to assist you more, but I believe the sessions were helpful. I trust that they were helpful in your preparation for the exam. But even before the exam, you are more than welcome to send us emails if you want some clarity here and there. We are available. So all the best for the exam. From my side, I must say, I hope next time when we have this, perhaps maybe next time you will not be in the group because you would have finished your, you have passed the module. But thank you so much for interacting with us, and good luck with the exam. With that said,
Thank you.
If Ms. Bai allows me, I'll say the session now is closed. Thank you so much, and keep well and keep safe.
Thanks so much, Advocate. Bye, Leonard.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye. 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 Bye.